Hi everybody, this is Crystal. Welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be teaching a tutorial. So I'm going to show you how to make this cable stitch shawl here. Now I do have a matching poncho as well, which I'll put a link to that in the description box and in the comments section. So I have this shawl that I made, it's triangle, and then like I said, I do have a tutorial already made for a poncho that matches. So this is just made with some basic cables, as you can see. It's not hard at all. I know, don't go, because some people are scared to try cables. Don't be scared. Give it a try. You can do it. All right, so mine isn't a large shawl, but you can make yours as big as you want. So from corner to corner, mine measures 40 inches, and from top down to the point is 22. Now, this is just one entire cake of yarn. If you want a bigger shawl, I would add another entire cake of yarn to that, and then you would probably be about at 60 inches across, which is about a normal span for a shawl. But I like it. I think it turned out really well. I love cables though a lot. So let me move this to the side, and we'll talk about. Oh, this is what the back side looks like. So let me move this, and we'll talk about the yarn that I used for this particular video. Alright, so I used Caron Colorama Halo. Now this is a fuzzy yarn, but it's a soft fuzzy yarn, and it's a very pretty gradient. This is the color that I used. It is classified as a bulky number 5. It's 71 acrylic, 18 nylon, and 11 polyester. There's 481 yards per cake. And like I said, that was one entire cake. There was just like this much left. So if you wanted to make it about 60 inches, another cake would probably do it. Now you don't have to use this yarn, and you don't even have to use this weight. You could do the cables in this pattern in any weight that you wanted. 2 weight, you know, it'd just be nice and drapey. 3 weight, 4 weight, 5 weight. You can even make a super big, thick, chunky shawl and do it in a 6 weight if you want. That is completely up to you. You remember though, the yarn and hook, the amount of yarn that you need and the hook size will be different versus this bulky 5. But if you want to ask me, I consider it more of a 4, really, 4 weight. So if you're going to do it in a 4 weight and you want to make like a 60-inch cross shawl, about 1,000 yards probably. So that's what I would say for that. Okay. Oh, and the color I'm using is called Beet Red, but of course any color you use will be beautiful. And then we're going to be using a size, let's see what we got going on here. J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. You want to get started? Remember, it's not hard. It does have a little bit of a longer repeat row, but you can do it. It's a very easy repeat row. Let's do it. Alright, I'm going to show you with a different yarn, because since this yarn's kind of fuzzy, I want you to be able to see where I'm doing the cables and stuff. So I'm just showing you with some scrap yarn I have here. This is a 4-weight acrylic yarn. So you want to start off with a slip knot on your hook. So this shawl is worked from the top, and then it grows like this. And we're going to start with a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if you want to use a magic circle here, that would be fine. But I'm going to go ahead and slip stitch into this first chain here to form a ring that we can work into. And I'm going to chain 1, which does not count as a stitch. Now I'm going to be working through the center of the ring. I'm going to work 5 double crochets through the center of the ring. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to chain 2, which is going to be the point of the shawl. And then we're going to go back through the center of the ring and work 5 more double crochets. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and there is 5. So that is row 1. You can pull your tail, close up that center circle a little bit more, and then we can sew it together later at the end. Alright, so we're going to start row 2 by chaining 1 and turning our work. Now that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. Now we're going to start every single row the same way. We're going to put 2 double crochets into this very first stitch. So there's 1 and there's 2, like that. Now we're going to work the first part of our cable, which is the twist over part. Now our cables for this particular pattern are worked over 4 stitches. So you can see we have 4 stitches here on the previous row because the cables are worked down here on the previous row. So what we're going to do is we're going to be working front post triple crochets for this part of the cable. So we're going to yarn over twice and we're going to skip 2 stitches. Skip, skip, and in the next we go around the post and work a front post triple crochet like that. And then we're going to do a front post triple crochet around the post of the next stitch, yarn over twice, go around the post, and front post triple, like that. Now we're going to make the twist part of our cable, which means we need to back it up to the 2 stitches that we skipped and do a front post triple crochet around those, starting with the first one that we skipped right here. So yarn over twice and go around that first one that we skipped and front post triple. And then the next one that we skipped. Sometimes you have to dig around to find him, but there he is, and front post triple around him. Just like that. And that is the twist part of our first cable. Now we're going to jump. I always kind of stick my thumb in there to kind of get them untwisted a little bit. Now we're going to jump to our chain 2 space and we're going to work in the chain 2 space the same thing that we're always going to work in the chain 2 space. It's always going to be the same. 2 double crochets. There's 1 and there's 2. A chain of 2 and 2 more double crochets. There's 1 and there's 2. Now all we need to do is make this side match this side. So we need to start off by working our cable. So it's going to be worked over these first 4 stitches here. So what we're going to do is front post triple. We're going to skip 2 stitches. Skip, 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 and then the next front post triple around that stitch. And then we are going to front post triple around the next stitch right here. And now we're going to back it up and make the twist of our cable by doing a front post triple crochet in the 2 stitches that we skipped, starting with the first one. So this one right here. Yarn over twice and go around the post of that first stitch that we skipped and front post triple crochet, and then you find your next one that you skipped. There he is, and front post triple crochet around him. There we go. And like I said, I kind of always stick my thumb in there and just kind of untwist the cables a bit. They get kind of tangled up a little bit. And then you should have 1 stitch here at the end that remains, and the end always gets the same too, regardless of what row you're on, 2 double crochets in the last stitch. And that will end row 2. So we have the start of 2 cables. So why don't we go ahead and start row 3. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. Remember, the chain 1 does not count as a stitch. And in the first stitch, as always, we're going to put 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Now into the next stitch right here, we're going to put 1 double crochet. Now up next is our cable. Now we're on the back side of our work now. The front side is where the cables twist. The back side is where it doesn't look quite as good as the front, I'll say that. So every time we work on the back side of our work, we are going to be working back post triple crochets. Now what we have to do is work a back post triple crochet in each one of these stitches in order. So I always put my finger in there like this, in between the stitches. Now the ones that are on the front of my finger are the first ones. So we back post triple around this one, and then we go to this one and this one. All right, so let's go ahead and start that. Remember, we're doing back post triples around that first one in the front. Now if it seems difficult, you can do this. Just keep practicing. I mean, I didn't know how to do it. I just had to keep practicing until I finally learned how to do cables. So you can do them too. Now we go to the next one in the front right there and back post triple crochet. And then we have these 2 right here, so we're going to back post triple crochet around the first one. Remember, it's a back post triple when you're working on the back side of your work. And then a back post triple in the final one of the cable. There we go. Just like that. And now we have 2 stitches here, so we're going to put a double crochet, 1 in each of those 2 stitches. And then we're in the chain 2 space, and we always do the same thing in the chain 2 space, which is 2 doubles, a chain of 2, and 2 more double crochets. Now again, we just need to make this side look like this side, so we just do the same thing. So we're going to start off by putting a double crochet into the first 2 stitches. There's 1, there's 2, and now we're at our cable. So again, kind of put your finger in there, and remember, back side of our work is back post triples. So we back post triple around this one first, and then this one second, this one third, and this one fourth. So go on that first one there and back post triple. And then the next one there, that's kind of set in the front, back post triple. And then we got these 2 here, they're kind of set in the back. We got a back post triple around those. And then the last one here. Just like that. And now we're going to put, we got 2 stitches left. We're going to put a double crochet into the next stitch. And into the last stitch, it always gets the same thing, 2 doubles into the last stitch. And that will end row 3. So we're going to start row 4 by chaining 1 and turning our work. And this is the front side of our work. See that? And every time we're on the front, that's when we do the twist of the cable. All right? The twists are always made on the front, and the front is always front post triples, and in the back is always the back post triples. So let's begin row 4 like we always do. 2 double crochets into the first stitch. And now you see we have 2 stitches here before we get to our cables. So go ahead and put a double crochet in each of those 2 stitches. And now we're going to work the cable again. So we're just going to do the crossover like we did on row 2. So we're going to do a front post triple. We're going to skip 2, skip, skip, and then the next one we front post triple. And then front post triple into the next one. And then we need to back it up to the 2 we skipped and front post triple into those, starting with the first one that we skipped. And then the next one. And again, I always use my thumb to kind of square out that, or straighten out that cable. And now we're going to put a double crochet in each of the next, the remaining stitches until we get to our chain 2 space. So you should have 4 there that remain. So double crochet in each of those 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in our chain 2 space, always the same, 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles back in this chain 2 space. And again, we just need to make it this side match this side. So we're going to start off, we're going to put a double crochet into the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we need to do our cable, same way we did it on this side. It's the crossover part. So we're going to front post triple. We're going to skip 2, skip, skip, front post triple into the next. And front post triple into the next. And we're going to back it up and front post triple into the 2 that we skipped, starting with the first one. And then dig around and find your other guy. There he is. And front post triple in him. Go ahead and put your thumb in between there and straighten out that cable a bit. And then you should have 3 stitches that remain. So we're going to go ahead and put a double crochet into the next 2. And then the last stitch gets 2 double crochets into the last. And that ends row 4. So the more rows you do, the more you'll start to be able to see your cable patterns take place. So let's go ahead and start row 5. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And we're going to start off, as always, by putting 2 double crochets into the very first stitch. And then we have 3 stitches here before our cable, so go ahead and double crochet into the next 3 stitches. Okay, we're on the back side of our work, which means we work back post triple crochets for our cable. So go ahead and put your finger through the 4 stitches. You'll have the 2 on the front of your, or on the back of your finger, and the 2 on the front. We do the back post triple in a row, so it would be this one first, this one second, this one third, and this one fourth. Back post triple. So go ahead and go to the first one in the front and back post triple around that one. And then the next one that's kind of set in the front, back post triple. And then these 2 stitches that are set in the back here, back post triple around the first one. And back post triple around the remaining one of that cable. That. And now let's see, we have 6 stitches here before our chain 2 space. So we're going to go ahead and work 1 double crochet in those 6 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there is 6. Now in the chain 2 space, you know what it gets. 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles into that chain 2 space. And then we repeat what we did over here. So we're going to double crochet into the next 6 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're at our cable, so you can go ahead and put your finger in there to separate the stitches if you need to. Back post triple in the first one in the front, the second one in the front, and then the next one in the back, and the next one in the back. They just kind of go in order. But remember, we're on the back side, so it's back post triples. And then the 2 in the front, back post triple. Sorry about that. Back post, back post. There we go. And in the last one of the cable, back post triple. And we're going to go ahead and finish this out. You should have 4 stitches here that remain. Double crochet into the next 3. There's 1, 2, 3, and we work 2 double crochets into the last. There's 1 and 2, and that will end row 5. So now we're going to go ahead and start row 6 by chaining 1 and turning our work. So this is the front side of our work now. Now we're going to be adding another cable. There will be 4 double for the rest of the pattern. There's always going to be 4 double crochets between each of your cables. So we don't have enough up here to add a cable yet, but we will add a cable down here. So we're on row 6 right now. So we're going to start off, as always, by putting 2 double crochets into the very first stitch. So there's 1, and there's 2, and then you should have 4 stitches there before you get to the cable. Go ahead and put a double crochet in each of those 4 stitches. Now we're on the front side of our work, so this is where we do our front post triples, and this is where we make our twist of our cable, always on the front. So we're going to yarn over twice, and we're at the cable. We're going to skip 2 stitches, skip, skip, and front post triple crochet into the next. And then front post triple crochet into the next stitch of the cable. And then we're going to back it up and do our crossover by doing a front post triple into the 2 stitches that we skipped, starting with the first one. Oh, and then we go to the next one that we skipped. Like that. Put your thumb in there, kind of straighten them out like that. Okay, so now down here is where we're going to add another cable. So we're going to put a double crochet into the next 4 stitches, because as I mentioned, there are 4 stitches between the rows of cables that we do. So there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. Now that should leave us 4 stitches left before the chain 2 space to start another cable. And this is what we have, 4 stitches here. So we're going to go ahead and start another cable right here. So we're going to do skip 2 stitches, skip, skip, and front post triple around the next. Remember, we're starting a brand new cable, and this cable will continue throughout the entire length of your shawl. Every time we start a new one, it will always be there. Front post triple into the next, which is this one right here before your chain 2 space. And then we're going to back it up to the 2 that we skipped and front post triple in those, starting with the first one. And then the next one, front post triple. And we have started a new cable. Now we're at our chain 2 space. We're going to go into that chain 2 space and work 2 double crochets. A chain of 2 and 2 more double crochets, just like that. So you see you got this cable that we started, and then we just started a brand new one. All right, and there's the 4 stitches in between. So let's make this side match this side. So we're going to start off with the cable because it ended with the cable here. So these 4 stitches here, we're going to skip the first 2, skip, skip, and front post triple into the next. And then front post triple into the next. And then we're going to back it up to the 2 we skipped. Front post triple into those, starting with the first one that we skipped. And then the next one that we skipped, we front post triple into that one. And now remember, we put 4 double crochets between their cables, and if you look, there is 4 double crochets between this cable and this cable. So go ahead and put a double crochet in those 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're at the cable which we've already been working on. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to skip 2 and front post triple into the next, and then front post triple into the next, back it up, and the 2 that we skipped, front post triple into those, starting with the first one that we skipped, And fix that cable there, and now we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches that remain. Go ahead and double crochet into the next 4. And in with 2 double crochets into the last stitch, and that will end row 6. And now you can see here's the front side of our work. So we got our 2 cables which we've been working on, and we started 2 more. All right, let's start row 7, chain 1 and turn, and we're going to be working on the back side of our work, which means we work our back post triple crochets. So 2 double crochets into the very first stitch. There's 1, and then there's 2, and we're going to put a double crochet into the next 5 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're at our cable, so we have to work our 4, we're on the back side of our work, our 4 back post triple crochets, starting with the first one that's in the front. Back post triple crochet into the next one that's in the front. Back post triple crochet in this one, and then this one. So there's that cable. Now remember, there's 4 stitches in between the cables, so double crochet into the next 4 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're at the next cable that we started, and we're going to do the same thing. Back post triple crochet in the ones in the front first, starting with the first one. Back post triple crochet in the next stitch there in the front. Back post triple crochet in this one, and then this one. Okay, and you have 2 stitches here before the chain 2 space, a double crochet in those 2 stitches. There's 1 and 2, and in the chain 2 space we do the same thing we always do: 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. Just like that. So now what we need to do again is just make this side match this side. So I'm just going to do the same thing here that I did right here, and I'll meet back up with you after we finish our last cable. All right, remember to do the exact same thing on this side that we just did over here. All right, I've just finished out my last cable of row 7. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches that remain. Go ahead and double crochet into the next 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the last one gets 2 double crochets, and that will end round 7. Round 8, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and it's pretty similar to what we've been doing. So we're going to start off with 2 double crochets into the first stitch. And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go ahead and double crochet into the next 6 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're on the front side of our work, so we have to do our front post triples. Here's the cable. So we're going to skip 2, skip, and front post triple into the next. And then front post triple into the next. Back it up and front post triple into the 2 that we skipped, starting with the first one. Like that. Remember, there's always 4 stitches between the cables. There's a cable here and a cable here, 4 stitches in between. Double crochet into the next 4 stitches. And we're at our next cable, so we're going to do the same thing. Skip 2, skip, front post triple into the next, and front post triple into the next, back it up and front post triple into the 2 that we skipped, that cable is like that, and now we have 4 stitches there before our chain 2 space. Double crochet in those 4 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space. So now what we're going to do for row 8 is just repeat over here what we just did over here. Remember, we're still working with just 2 cables. All right, so I will repeat what I did over here on this side, and I'll meet back up with you at the last cable here. All right, so I just finished this last cable here, and I have 7 stitches that remain. So I'm going to go ahead and double crochet into the next 6. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 2 double crochets into the last, and that'll end row 8. Oh, starting to look like that. All right, let's go ahead and start row 9. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to start off by putting a double crochet into the 2 double crochets, I'm sorry, into the very first stitch. So there's 1, and then there's 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 double crochet into the next 7 stitches. All right, and now we're at our cable, the back side of our cable. So this is where we work our front or our back post triple crochets, just like we've been doing. right, there's that cable. 4 stitches between the cables. So there's cable, there's a cable, there's our 4 stitches. Double crochet between those 4, or double crochet in each of those 4. I'm sorry. And now we're at our next cable, and we do the same thing. Back post triple crochet, just like we do, starting with that first one there in the front. And then the next one in the front. And then the 2 in the back here. Like that. And now we have 6 stitches here before we get to our chain 2 space. Go ahead and put a double crochet in those 6 stitches. And in the chain 2 space, 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles, just like that. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side that we just did on this side. So it's pretty easy. Do your double crochets in your cable, and then your 4 double crochets in your cable, and then I'll meet back up with you here towards the end. All right, I'm coming here to the end. I just did my last cable. Should have 8 stitches here, so go ahead and double crochet into the next 7. And 2 double crochets into the last. Now that will end row 9. And we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we are going to start row 10. Now row 10 starts the repeat rows now. Yeah, all this wasn't the start of a repeat row, but that's okay because it's very similar. The rest of it is very similar to what we've been doing. So what we're going to do now for row 10, we're actually going to add 2 more cables. So we're going to add one up here, and then also one down here, while continuing with these 2 here. So every time that you would start the repeat row, row 10 here, you would be adding 2 more cables. No matter how many you have in between, you'll always have one at the start that you add, and one at down here that you add. All right, so row 10, repeat row 1, row 1 of the repeat row is row 10. 2 double crochets into the first stitch. Now we're going to do a cable, which is worked over 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 right here. We're in the front of our work. So skip 2, skip, skip, front post triple around the next, and then front post triple around the next, and then we are going to back it up and front post triple around these 2 that we skipped, starting with this very first one, which is right there in between the very first one and the second one. Front post triple, and then front post triple into the next. So there is the start of another cable up here at the top now. And remember, we have 4 stitches in between the cables. So if we calculated right, which we did, we have a cable here and a cable here. There are 4 double crochets in between. So go ahead and put a double crochet in each of those 4 stitches. There's 1, here's 2, 3, and 4. And then we're at our next cable, and we're on the front, so it's front post triples, skip 2, skip, skip, and front post triple into the next stitch, front post triple into the next stitch, back it up, and front post triple into the 2 that we skipped, starting with the first, there's that cable. Should have 4 stitches between this cable and your next cable, and we do. Double crochet into those 4 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Work this next cable the same way, front post triples, skip your 2, skip, skip, and front post triple into the next, front post triple into the next, back it up, front post triple into the 2 that we skipped, and that finishes out that cable. Now we're going to make a cable down here, and remember there will be 4 stitches between the cables, so we're going to put a double crochet into the next 4 stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and if we calculated right, we should have 4 more left to do the cable, and we do. So we're going to skip 2, skip, skip, and front post triple into the next, and then the front post triple into the next, back it up, and front post triple into the 2 that we skipped, and then into the chain 2 space, which is the next spot, we work 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. So on row 10 we added 2 more cables. All right, let's do the same thing on this side that we just did on this side. So we have to start out with the cable here. So front, skip 2, skip, skip, front post triple into the next, and front post triple into the next, back it up, and front post triple into the 2 that we skipped, like that. And then we should have 4 stitches between our cables, and we do right there. Double crochet into those 4 stitches, and go ahead and work our next cable, front post triple, skip 2, front post triple into the next, and then front post triple into the next, back it up, front post triple into the next, or the first one that we skipped, and then front post triple to the second one that we skipped, and then there should be 4 stitches between the cables, and there is. Double crochet into those next 4 stitches, and we're at our cable. So we skip 2, front post triple into the next, and front post triple into the next, back it up, and front post triple into the 2 that we skipped, like that. now up here we are where we need to add a cable up here. So 4 double crochets between the cables, so we're going to go ahead and put a double crochet into the next 4 stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, like that. And that should leave us actually with 5 stitches that remain. So we're going to cable around the next 4. So skip 2, skip, skip, and front post triple crochet around the next, and front post triple crochet around the second to the last, and then back it up and front post triple around the 2 that we skipped. And then you have 1 stitch that remains. Let me straighten out those cables. You're going to end with 2 double crochets into that last stitch, and that will end row 10. So as you can see now, what we've done is we have started a cable here and a cable here, and then we continued. This is our very first cable we made, our second cable we made, and then we started a new cable on 2 new cables on this row, on each side. So let's go ahead and start row 11, which is the repeat is very easy now. We're just going to kind of keep repeating, you know, until we get to where we need to start another cable up here again. So row 11, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and 2 double crochets into the first stitch, 1 double crochet into that next stitch right after, and then we're out of cable, so we're on the back side, our back post triple crochets, like that. And remember, there's always 4 stitches between the cables, so 4 double crochets. And we're at our next cable, so back post triple crochets. Double crochet into the next 4 stitches, we're out of cable, back post triple crochet into the next 4, double crochet into the next 4 stitches, add a cable here, back post triple to the next 4, double crochet into the 2 before the chain 2 space, and in the chain 2 space we work 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. So now we're just going to repeat on this side what we did on this side, and I'll meet back up with you towards the end of the row. Alright, I just finished out my last cable here of row 11, and I have 2 stitches left. I'm going to put 1 double crochet into the next one, and then 2 double crochets into the last, and that'll end row 11. We're going to go ahead and start row 12, chaining 1 and turning our work, and 2 double crochets into our very first stitch. Double crochet into the next 2 stitches. And now what I'm going to do is I am just going to work, since we're on the front side of our work, I'm going to work a front post triple like we do, cross over for this cable, then our 4 doubles, and then we do the triples for this cable and our 4 doubles, the triple for this cable and our 4 doubles, and the triple for this cable, and that is where I'll meet back up with you. See, it's just a very easy repeat right now. So this is row 12 we're on, so I'll meet back up with you after we finish out this cable down here. Alright, so I just did my last cable down here, and I have 4 stitches there before the chain 2 space, so I'm going to put a double crochet in those 4 stitches, and in the chain 2 space it's going to be 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles like that. And now you know what we're going to do. We're going to repeat over here what we just did over here. Remember, we're on the front of our work, so we're working the front post triples on our cables. So I'll meet back up with you up here at the end, up here at our last cable. Alright, coming to the end of row 12, I just did my last cable here, and I have 3 stitches here that remain. I'm going to double crochet in the first 2, and 2 double crochets into the last. That'll end row 12. We'll start row 13 by chaining 1 and turning our work, working on the back side. So this is the back post triple crochet row. So we start off with 2 double crochets into the same stitch, the very first one, double crochet into the next 3, and what we're going to do now is we are going to work the same thing that we've been working with the back post triples for the cables. So back post triples in this cable, and then your 4 double crochets in between. Back post triples for this cable, 4 doubles in between. Back post triples for that cable, 4 doubles in between. Back post triple into this cable, and I'll meet back up with you after we finish out this last cable on this side. Alright, so I finished this cable down here at the bottom, and I have 6 stitches here. Before I get to my chain 2 space, go ahead and double crochet into those remaining 6 stitches. And then in the chain 2 space, we work 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles. And you know we're going to repeat the same thing on this side that we just repeated on this side. So remember, since we're working on the back of our work, all of our cables are back post triple crochets this time. So I will meet back up with you at the last cable here. Alright, I'm coming to the end of row 13. I just finished out this last cable, and I have 4 stitches here that remain. I'm going to double crochet into the next 3, 2 and 3, and then 2 doubles into the last, and then we're going to chain 1 and start row 14. Now we're on the front side of our work, and we're going to add another cable now, just one down here. So every time we do a repeat of row 14, we add a cable at the bottom. Not at the top, but at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and work what we always work across here. We're working on the front, so the cables are front post triples. So we start off here with 2 double crochets into the first stitch. And then there's 4 stitches there, a double crochet into the next 4. And then we're just going to do the front post triples for this cable, and then our 4 doubles. Triples, front post triples for this cable, 4 doubles. Front post triple for this cable, 4 doubles, this cable, and then I'll meet back up with you after I finish out this cable, and we'll add another one down here. Alright, so we're going to add another cable down here. So remember, 4 stitches in between each cable, so we got to go ahead and put a double crochet into the next 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. If we counted correctly, we should have 4 that remain, and we do. So we're going to do a cable right here. So skip 2, skip, and front post triple around the next, and then front post triple around the next. Back it up, and a front post triple around the 2 that we skipped. Just like that, and just like ta-da, we added another cable. Add our chain 2 space. We're going to work 2 doubles, chain 2, and 2 doubles, just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side that we just did on this side. So we got to add a cable here. We're going to start off by adding a cable into the first 4 stitches. So we're going to skip 2, skip, and a front post triple around the next, and then front post triple around the next, and then back it up to the 2 that we skipped, front post triple into those. And again, if we counted right, we should have 4 double crochets here between the cables, and we do. 1 double crochet into the next 4, and we're just going to repeat on this side what we did on the other side, working front post triples in the cables with 4 double crochets in between, and I'll meet back up with you at the last cable. Alright, I'm coming to the end of row 14, and I just did my last cable, and I have 5 stitches that remain. So I'll go ahead and double crochet in the remaining, well, into the 4, and then 2 double crochets into the last, and now end row 14. So that's what we have now. We have started a new cable on row 14. So what we're going to do now is just continue this pattern. We're on row 14 now. We're going to continue the pattern, rows 15, 16, and 17, the same as we've been doing. We will not add any more cables until we get to row 18. And row 18 is where we start repeating row 10 again. All right, so that's row 18 will be a repeat of row 10, where we add a cable here and a cable down here. So row 14 is what we're on now. Row 15 will be the back. You know, we'll just work, adding no more cables, just work around. Row 16 will be the front, adding no more cables, just continue to work around. Row 17 will be the back, adding no more cables, just working around. And that will be the end of the repeat. Turn it over. Row 18 will be where we start repeating row 10 again. That's where we'll add a cable up here and a cable up here. So to save some time on the tutorial, you know, the rest of the rows 15, 16, and 17, they're all the same. It just that we've been doing. It just grows here a little bit more, grows down here a little bit more. We add no more cables. We continue with the same amount of cables. And so the repeat is rows 10 through 17. It is an 8-row repeat. And remember, every time you repeat row 10, that starts over with a new cable here and a new cable here. And then when you repeat row 14, it adds a new cable here. And you keep doing that until you get your shawl as big as you want it to be. And after a few repeats, it starts to look like this. Now, you go for as long as you want, but you want to make sure that you end on a row 17 repeat, which will be the back side of your work. All even rows are the front side. All odd rows are the back side, if that helps out any. So, end on a row 17, however big you want it to be. Now, you could put a border on it if you want. What I chose to do for a border is just single crochet. After I finished out as long as I wanted it to be, and I ended on a row 17 repeat, I flipped it over to where I was on the front side of my work again, and I put 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 single crochet into every single stitch until I got to my chain 2 space, 4 single crochets into the chain 2 space, 1 single crochet into every single stitch, and then 2 single crochets into the last. And that's what I did. But you can add any type of border that you want. It's completely up to you. So I know it's a long process, and it seems like a long repeat, but it's just very, very easy repeating of pretty much the same thing. Cables twisting in the front and not twisting in the back. All right. Even rows are the twist cables on the top. The back rows are, they don't twist. It's the back post. They're on the back. All right. And it's the odd number rows. So I can't wait to see yours. Show me a picture on my Bagoday Crochet Facebook page or on Instagram. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my videos. And remember, I will put the matching poncho to this, the link in the description box. And until next time, I'll see you on my next video. I lost my voice doing this doing this tutorial. Take care, guys. Bye.